everyone, and welcome to the PlayStation 3 Formula 1 League on Apex Racing League. Highlights from the Hungarian Grand Prix. I'm Kevin Joyce, and I'm joined by Clive Lawrence.
Hello.
We're on the Hungarian this week, and the short lap of 2.7 miles, and we're going to see a qualifying lap here from Just Indeed. Very important to get good grid positions on the super sticky option tyres. Down the pit straight he goes, banging into the rev limiter at 190 miles an hour. Watch for the marker board on the top left hand side and slam on the brakes. Use that as your braking point. And already we're accelerating way down towards turn 2 using a bit of curves from 7th gear down into 3rd. Let the car roll around the corner, hug the inside of the corner, and straighten the car as quickly as possible and get on the power, get on the DRS very quickly, heading up the hill and turning left, dropping down 2 gears, closing that DRS. And Justin has gone very wide, missed the apex of that corner, and he corrects it, gets a little bit of oversteer, and into the chicanes, a nice neat line in 2nd and 3rd gear, opening DRS and slamming it shut again as soon as he touches the brakes, swings left and swings right, misses a little bit of apex, but it's okay, he's got room on the exit, and he throws the car into the long right-hander at turn 10, and into the final few corners comes Justin. He's 1.3 down on Aero Cobra. He's attacking this track for all it's worth with the Mercedes. Just does not want to turn it, as you can see. Just look how much of apex he misses. And into the final corner, trying to let the car roll around and across the line for Justin, using all of his curves and all of his DRS, and that puts him in P7. So qualifying incredibly important around the Hungarian. Overtaking is impossible. Take us through the grid, Clive.
Right. Well, we got Stefan, as usual. So pole position 112.4. VTI, quarter of a second behind in 2nd place. Viper, just another half a tenth behind in 3rd place. Steam Bradley, only 3 tenths behind Viper, good qualifying from him. F1 Maniac, 1 second down on Cobra. Aero Boom, further half a second down on F1 Maniac. Justin in 7th, as we saw there, 1.5 down on Cobra. Dale, 8th place, a further 10th down on Justin. Lemon Fresh Smurf, 2.8 down in 9th place. Ace Meister, 3.4 down in 10th place. Blake, plus 10. Aero Bachelor Dad actually blew his engine in qualifying, didn't set a time. Aero Specialist couldn't get a valid lap in, starts in 13th. Lee Cocker didn't make it for this race. Stephen Martin didn't make it for this race. And Ivertex didn't make it for this race, so a 13-man grid.
Yeah, very short grid, and they can see the differences in qualifying, incredibly short gaps between the top 4 and 5, and that's probably down to the nature of the short lap of the Hungarian. But as we can see, Clive, it's a wet race, and it looks like they're starting the intermediates.
It's looking like it's going to be clearing up towards the end, though, so could be in for some decent strategies towards the end.
Yep, 48%. So that usually means that will probably mean halfway through the race we should see a dry circuit, and we're on board here with Aero Boom, about to start the race. Wet conditions throws it up for everyone, but still the best drivers get through it, and it can mix it up a bit, so it'll be interesting to see the strategies unfold as the track goes from wet to dry conditions, and what drivers will do. Will they go for the dry tyres straight away? Will they try and eke out those intermediates so they can make one less stop at the end? Because remember, they will be, once they move on to dry tyres, they will be on the super softs and the soft tyres, which don't last very long. But we're on board with Aero Boom, and we're on 4 lights, 5 lights, and we're underway at the Hungarian. And it's a decent start from Aero Boom. He's getting alongside his teammate, and looks like he's going to attack Steam Bradley. And Aero Cobra and VTI looks like they've got away, and Dale sneaking up around the outside, and there's a little bit of contact between Aero Viper and was that VTI? It looked like there was a little bit of touch between them, but Aero Viper has lost out. He is back down into P5, and he's gone very deep. And wide goes Viper, and wide goes Aero Boom. So Viper has once again got it all to do for himself, just like at the Nürburgring.
2 races on the trot. He's got to come from the back of the grid.
Yes, he does. And this is Blake on the outside of Lemon, who goes very deep into turn 5. And we're back with Ace Meister, who goes around the outside of Lemon. and confidently going around the outside and getting a bit of oversteer. And look at that. Oh, goes incredibly late on the brakes and almost running into the back of Aero Specialist, who is desperately trying to get by, it looks like, Viper and Blake. So here is Aero Blake. He is chasing Batch incredibly hard. Bachelor Dad started down, I think it was at 11th, and he's now up to, or was it 14? And he's now up to P8, so he has taken advantage of the calamities that's gone on at the first couple of corners. He's got himself into a solid point position, so he can now make tracks. But meanwhile, back at the front, look at that Aero Blake, and he's Specialist, and around they go. And that's going to promote Ace Meister up into P10, and Viper is up into P9, so contact already on lap 1.
Yeah, so, action all the way in lap 1.
Yes, and then here we go, and here's Aero Specialist going straight back up the inside of Ace Meister, and that looks like a clean-cut manoeuvre. And Ace Meister is not giving in. He's going to use some curves. He's going to try and fight back Aero Specialist for this battle for P10, and he retakes P10. What a move.
Nice one.
Fantastic stuff from Ace Meister, not giving in. So back at the front, we believe Aero Cobra leads from VTI, from Steen Bradley, and in 4th place, possibly Justin, as a result of that. And look at Specialist going up the inside of Ace, getting wrong-footed, but Ace driving incredibly defensively, and Specialist goes up the inside, and Ace has gone straight on at the chicane, but he'll have to relinquish that position to Specialist to avoid a penalty, and indeed he does. Got a little bit deep on the brakes as Ace, and Ace looking very aggressive in the opening laps, Clive.
Very, yeah, I'm liking his moves.
Whoa, and that's Aero Boom. He's got a massive tank slapper there in the middle of turn 10. Driver's struggling a lot with this heavy fuel load and these damp conditions. Not much wet weather practice. We're on board with Dale, who is snapping at Justin's heels. And that's Dale into P6, Justin in P5. And here is Dale lining up Justin for a pass. He puts the engine onto full power with a blast of curves. We're back with Aero Bachelor Dad, who's coming under pressure from Aero Viper. We can see him on the screen. And Dale goes early on the brakes and Viper goes very late. Does he make the mistake to Bachelor Dad? Bachelor Dad not giving in, and he's had to relinquish the position.
Viper pushing him up onto the curb so he gets no traction.
well executed manoeuvre there, and very, very aggressive opening few laps from everyone. And look at Viper on the recovery charge once again, having been sniffing around Dale. Looks like he wants to get by him as soon as possible, but Dale overtaking, not only is overtaking incredibly difficult, but taking different lines around this track can gain you one advantage and lose another. 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, I was meant to say. And
put your teeth in, Kevin.
Yes, my thesaurus coming to good use. But anyway, Aero Viper attacking the back of Dale, and Aero Bachelor Dad is driving quite conservatively, hasn't spun, and he has kept it all clean to keep himself to P8. But Viper on the recovery charge once again, and he's got it all to do for himself. He would have been hoping to challenge Aero Cobra around here. And Aero Cobra, we're just looking at the track map, he himself and the VTI are trading the fastest laps at the moment. And it looks like, well, the track conditions, how long will these intermediates last, Badge?
Ooh, I think, well, it would all depend really, but you're probably looking around, probably 10, 11 laps would probably be a good time to sort of pit, but they could go for a while, but you'd be losing time, really, if you go much longer.
And Viper sneaks up the inside of Dale. And Dale has gone wide, and Bachelor Dad is going to try and sneak around the outside of turn 2, and around he goes. Dale hugs the inside, and Batch has got the high ground for turn 3, but Dale, using all of the track and clever driving from Batch there, didn't want to get too involved and risk having a collision. We just seen there VTI set the fastest lap himself and Aero Cobra, and look at that, there's only 1 second between them, and look at Aero Cobra getting very sideways. He's got a commanding lead, but he's got track position, which is incredibly important around here. And notably good in the dry. He's absolutely exceptional in the wet weather, is Aero Cobra. We know he's got phenomenal speed in qualifying, especially when it comes to wet conditions. And at the moment, he's been chased by VTI, who has just closed the gap there to 9 tenths. They're pretty much matching each other sector for sector. Steen Bradley just 4 seconds down the road. And it seems on high fuel that Cobra and VTI are making the most of it. As we're coming onto the pit straight from Aero Cobra. He's minding his fuel, minding his tyres, not pushing too hard. That's a purple final sector from Aero Cobra as he switches the engine back to standard. VTI is still 9/10 of a second behind him, and look at that, another new fastest lap at 22.9. And he looks like he's trying to put Aero Cobra under some form of pressure, but whether he can make that stick, we don't know. As we look at Elite F1 Maniac getting sideways, we're back with Justin.
And Viper takes 2 places in one shot.
What a move.
What's that, 4 places in 3 laps?
Pretty much, yeah.
All the same corner?
That's certainly helped him along, and when the tyres start to go off and we start to get coming in for dry tyres, Aero Viper will be able to take advantage of the strategy. And he's already got track position, so he was unlucky in one sense in the first few corners, and look at Justin getting very sideways, trying to hang on as Dale pressurises him. And Aero Viper is pushing incredibly hard here, doing everything he can. He's got the pace to make it stick and to make up those positions. We're looking at Aero Boom getting sideways. Entertaining driving from everyone here, as we can see. Everyone getting the back end sliding out, everyone pushing very hard, as is always the case in F1. You always try your best and always give it your all. And there's some drivers who push that a little bit too hard and get caught out, but at the moment it's line astern between P6 and P9, and that's Aero Boom, and he's catching the back of Aero Bachelor that got sideways there in the second to last corner, and Aero Specialist is just behind him. And we believe Lemon and Ace are involved in a battle of their own, fighting over P11 and 12. And here comes Aero Boom on the start of lap 6. And it'll be interesting to see. We're seeing now that the lap times don't seem to be improving much more, Clive. Maybe it's a sign of the tyres going off as Boom gets the back end out and he's under pressure from Aero Specialist. I can hardly keep up with everything that's going on here. This is fantastic stuff. And Aero Specialist takes P9 pretty convincingly. Caught Aero Boom out in turn 1. Yeah. And Boom throwing that Toro Rosso around. Not the most ideal cars to be driving. We're back with Dale, who is on the back of Justin, who is attacking what looks to be his F1 Maniac. And look, that's Dale getting sideways, going up the inside of Justin. And this is a mighty little scrap, and Bachelor that has a great view of all of this. This is a fantastic race so far, and Bachelor that gets sideways, but Aero Specialist is up to P8. So within the space of a lap, Aero Specialist has gained 2 positions, and he's already sniffing at Justin's heels. Bachelor that seems like he's going long game here. He's not getting too involved in the scraps and the races. He's just trying to keep the car on track and hope for the dry conditions will come out and favour him more. And it's a very mixed battle so far.
It is, but if you think about it, this is only lap 6, coming on to lap 7, and these 5 are nose to tail. I mean, they're all battling one another, really. Oh, it's an incredible battle, really.
And look at that, that's Justin getting wide.
Yeah.
Aero Cobra responds with the fastest lap. And Aero Specialist and Justin are having a drag race, and Bachelor looks like he's going to try and go 3 wide, but he backs out of it. Justin goes very deep on the brakes. Aero Specialist has got the apex. And so has Bachelor Dad. No, Justin will be under pressure not to lose contact. He has squeezed him out of it. Maybe there was a little bit of lag involved.
Wheel to wheel, literally.
Yes, literally just banging wheels, and Justin ruthlessly holding on to that 8th position. We're about to see, this is the replay from Justin's perspective, and it'll be interesting to see, is there much lag here, as he is, look, there he is, pressing the curves button, giving it all it's worth, trying to defend against Aero Specialist. He does not want to let him go. And look how deep he goes to the corner. Dale actually breaks a little bit good bit earlier than him. And this is it from Justin's perspective, and look at that. They weren't even wheel to wheel there on the screen, so it shows that there must have been a bit of lag, a bit of contact, so there you go.
I have seen Bachelor Dad sort of, he's jumping around on a couple of the shots, so I think Bachelor's actually got a lot of lag, having terrible issues with his connection this race, by the looks of it.
Yeah, and of course connections, you know, the very sensitive issue here in F1 2011.
Yeah,
and there's Aero Specialist going around the outside of Dale, or trying to go around the outside, but he switches back to the inside. And here is Dale, who is going to try and defend for all his life. And look at his tyres, they're getting quite worn. He goes defensive, Aero Specialist, and look at Dale pressing his curves to try and defend, but Aero Specialist easily taking P6 there.
Yeah, and another proof of the lag, Dale was apparently 10 minutes behind F1 Maniac, when you can actually see he's only about 3 or 4 seconds down the road.
Anytime you do see a timing split with a very unusual time, that's usually a sign of some lag going on, but luckily no contact between the 2 drivers there, and both of them behaving sensibly. Justin now on the back of Dale once again. And presumably lap 10 or 11, some drivers will consider, well, this is the question now, Clive. What's the best thing to do? Should you risk it and put on the set of intermediates and wait for it to dry up, or should you try and stake it out on the intermediates onto the track dry and gain yourself time? So,
I think it would be personal preference in all fairness, because I mean, if you feel that you're not comfortable with your tyres at the time, then no new tyres are going to gain you time, aren't they? If you feel comfortable with your tyres, then yeah, you might as well carry on. But it's all going to be down to feel, really, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. As we look at Justin and Dale getting sideways on their old tyres, the fastest lap seems to have stopped now, so it's a sign that the tyres are going off. Aero Cobra looks like he's pulled out a bit of a gap to VTI now, and there must be a 3 or 4 seconds gap, so Aero Cobra was just taking it easy in the opening stint and unleashing his pace once again, and it looks like, I'd imagine Aero Viper is not far off the back of Steve Bradley, Clive, and look at Justin, he's going to have a run at Dale. Dale goes defensive, and Justin hangs over the outside, and who's that going off? Who is that? And that's, look at that, that's
that's Bachelor Dad, wasn't it?
It looks like it, yes. And maybe there was contact between the two that we didn't see. Is that a HRT?
That's
it is
Lemon.
A HRT, yeah, that's Lemon. So Lemon has lost out there. Maybe he's a lap down by switching to different tyres or something, but it said P13 above his screen as we're looking at Justin fighting on the back of Dale once again. And it looks like Bachelor Dad seems to drop back a little bit from it.
Yeah, P9. But I mean, these two though are having a brilliant battle. This looks like it could go race long at this rate.
It definitely looks like it certainly looks that way so far, and in the Hungarian as well, very difficult not to cut the corners, especially in the chicanes, and penalties I'm sure will be inevitable. Time penalties will be given to some drivers who are a little bit excessive on the chicanes and using a little bit too much track, and probably deservedly so. You need to keep them with the track limits, and it's much more difficult to do it on a narrow flowing track like the Hungarian, but still it's the same for everyone, and they've all got to get on with it. And we're back with Dale, and it looks like Elite F1 Maniac has fallen down the order a little bit. He is now, Aero Specialist must be ahead of him now, surely.
Yeah, it must be in 5th place now, I believe.
Yeah. And I imagine Aero Viper and Steve Bradley are quite close on track. And I'm just looking at the track map there, and it does look like Aero Cobra's ahead. VTI is still second. Look at that. That's Maniac gone wide, and that's him down the order again. So a further 2 positions lost for him as Justin grotesquely defending it. Maniac up the inside again. And does he make it stick? Yes, he just about holds on to it. Justin did well there.
Nice move. Nice move. It seems a lot of people, I mean, there's a lot of people that are having trouble with Turn 1, but the people that aren't having trouble with Turn 1 are the ones that seem to be gaining in some serious time. I mean, look at Viper, 4 positions in 3 laps at the start, all down to Turn 1. Specialist, most of his moves have been at Turn 1. So, and I mean, nobody's got DRS yet.
Just off camera there, has Aero Specialist gone off the track because he's now back down to P9?
Oh yeah, is that the chicane?
Yes, it looked like someone went off track, and it looks like it was Aero Specialist. So he's back down to P9, and he's got it all to do again after a brilliant couple of laps. And now Bachelor Dad, as we can see, his front tyres are probably not as worn as some of the other drivers. He's all over the back of Justin and F1 Maniac, and it looks like that he, as a result of taking that little bit conservatively, he's got fresher tyres for when it matters. So maybe he can go as far as lap 15 or 16, but it looks like at this rate, with the tyres being in that condition, it looks like it's going to happen as Justin and the F1 Maniac go toe-to-toe again, and that's around the outside, a fantastic move from Justin, and Elite F1 Maniac is under pressure from Bachelor Dad. It's very difficult to keep track of what's going on in here, and they're in almost 3 abreast going around turn 2, and Specialist is all over the back of them. And there is a good scrap going on for P3, because it looks like VTI is falling back. I'm just looking at the track map, and it looks like VTI is falling back into the clutches of Steve Bradley and Aero Viper. I believe Aero Viper's up to P3 now, and Aero Cobra's got a nice gap anyway. And look, here's Bachelor up the inside of F1 Maniac into the chicane, and he goes incredibly deep.
Just makes it.
Just about makes it. That's a good move. And Justin has a little gap to himself now. Considering the performance of the Mercedes around this track, Justin doing a solid job, Clive.
Very well, very well. I'm actually more impressed with Dale at the moment. He seems to have broken a gap of about 1 or 2 seconds to Justin in front. So, as we've got Cobra coming in.
Yes, into the pits he comes, and what's going to happen? So that looks like he's going to dictate. He obviously thinks it's not going to dry up, so he's going to put on another set of intermediate tyres, force it into a pit crew, and they get him out in 5.1 seconds. Not the quickest of stops. VTI has stayed out. In comes Justin, and we believe has Aero Viper also pitted. I believe
I'm not sure.
I believe Aero Viper has, because VTI is now back in the lead, and it looks like VTI maybe he'll just continue on, and that's Aero. Is that Aero Specialist or F1 Maniac? I think that's
F1 Maniac.
It is, yes. So Ace Meister's up to P8, so he hasn't stopped yet. And we're about to see a replay from Aero Blake, who is down in 12th place, himself and Lemon fighting away. And what happens here? And look at that. Got sideways, and here goes his front wing. Punctured front left tyre, absolutely frustrating. Not a good day at the races with Blake. It's very difficult in the wet weather.
Doesn't have the best of luck, that bloke.
No, definitely not. And the controller certainly doesn't help you in the rain in this game. So struggling away is Blake, but he's still pounding on. Bachelor Dad is up to P6. Specialist is P7. They have not stopped yet, so presumably, having seen that Aero Cobra has come in, that they might just do the same and try and pit now and get it out of the way.
I would have thought so. You saw Batch go quite wide on that last corner, so yeah, and he's in.
In he comes, yes. And does Aero Specialist do the same? They haven't seen him behind him yet, but it looks like Aero Specialist is also in.
Yeah.
He hasn't overtaken him on the track map, so presumably he's just in. Now, this is a battle between Williams and Virgin. And traditionally, Williams always have a quicker pit crew than Virgin. And as Williams, what's the time?
4.4.
That's a quick stop for this game. And in comes Ace Meister and McLaren, one of the quicker stops as well. So Ace Meister actually not far behind this scrap. And look at that, 4.4 as well.
4.6, Kevin, sorry.
4.6, yeah, I can't quite see it.
Williams outdo McLaren, get in.
That's a good stop for the McLaren guys. And Aero Boom was up to P10. We don't know if he stopped. Aero Blake a long way down now. Maybe that's as a result of lag, but he has had a torrid time so far. Lemon is down in P13. So this is scrap really for the Spoon Award. And nobody wants to finish there. But anyway, we're back with Aero Bachelor Dad, who is chasing F1 Maniac. And he's got Specialist right behind him in P9. This is some scrap this is for find a few points positions, and the track is starting to dry. We're seeing a dry line now, Clyde.
Yeah. I think it's been dry for a while now, but it's actually getting a lot drier the more the race sort of goes on at the moment. It's actually drying out quicker, shall I say? So yeah, I can't see it being long before the dry tyres are out.
And that looks like, who is that? That's in front of Dale. That looks like it's a HRT, possibly Lemon. And in comes Dale, a new set. He's gone for the option tyres. Interesting.
Very interesting.
I think it's a bit early for options, to be quite honest, but it'll be interesting to see, can he make that work. Aero Cobra sets the fastest lap. He's doing well on the new set of intermediates, and the track is surely too wet for the options. And look at that, Specialist goes around the outside. They have undercut Dale. And Dale getting sideways, left, right, and centre, and he's under pressure from Ace Meister. It's going to be very difficult for Dale to recover from there. Those option tyres not gripping incredibly well. Look at them, doesn't have the confidence to push. Probably a little bit too early.
The dry line just isn't wide enough for cold options by the looks of it.
No, definitely not. And this is Aero Boom, and presumably he is already. And he's off the track. That's a difficult spin to recover from there for Aero Boom, and he's into the barrier trying to pivot the car around, but it hasn't helped. He's back down to P11. And it looks
Ace Meister just went past as well.
Ace Meister up to P10.
He's in the points.
Yes, so if he can keep up the consistency, and look at Dale on the option tyres in the wet, and he's trying to stick to the dry line, but anytime he goes wet, he goes wide, and look at that, getting very sideways. Viper now was on the move. We believe VTI hasn't come in yet, and that's going to be wide. So presumably he's lost an incredible amount of time. Look at this lap alone, he's 24 seconds down, and he's under pressure from Ace Meister on the brand new set of intermediates. So, and that someone has gone off. That's Lemon. We believe Lemon is out of the race. He's had a crash. As we look at Ace Meister, surely look at Dale absolutely struggling on those tyres. Surely it's easy prey for Ace Meister up into P10.
Yeah.
Or P9, should I say. And that's Ace Meister now sitting on 2 potential World Championship points. So he just needs to keep it clean, and he's got himself a solid haul of points. And Justin is about 20 seconds up the road. And here is Justin. And we're about to see a replay of something that happened to Justin, presumably. And we haven't seen anything just happen yet, so we're just waiting. Maybe he went on the chicane.
He's got on the grass.
Yes, and he saved it. He got a wheel on the grass, and that's allowed.
3 positions.
Yes, he's lost a few positions there now. So look at Bastardad, the specialist, still fighting it out over P6 and 7. And we're back now with the specialist spawn, and Justin. Now, using a bad pun there, Justin just avoids Aero Specialist, and that was very narrow. Look at Bastardad, he's gone up the inside of F1 Maniac. Steve Bradley's in P4. We believe VTI still hasn't competed yet. He's still out in the intermediates, but presumably he will be under serious pressure from Aero Cobra and Aero Viper at this stage, because worn intermediates, I'd say they'd be an absolute nightmare in outclimb.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, they're going to be overheating because the track is drying out a fair bit. So, you know, you've got to really look after them. As we see F1 go really wide at turn 1 again.
Yeah.
Lots of people having trouble with that corner.
Yes, and it's very difficult to remain consistent in this race. And some people are sort of all over the place, but when there's not much practice done in the wet, it's inevitable that this happens. A lot of drivers would have practiced over and over again in the dry and hoping that it wasn't raining, and all the dry running has sort of gone to waste in terms of race practice, and Justin getting a little bit wide, and he's under pressure from Aero Specialist. This is something I could not put money on who's going to finish in P4, 5 and 6.
This is an amazing battle, really. I mean, they're all so close. I mean, after everything that's happened between them all, they're all still pretty much nose to tail. You know, I mean, apart from, you know, Dale was in there as well, but obviously pitted too early for the options. Unlucky, really. But, you know, these 4 are really battling it away. As we see Justin go 0.7 quicker than his last lap. So he must be gaining on Batch pretty quick.
Yeah, it looks like the track is certainly getting a lot quicker. And it's just a matter now. And that's who's that gone off? That Specialist again.
Yeah, it was. No, Specialist is behind Justin now. I don't know who it was. I missed it.
I missed it myself too. But Aero Bachelor is up to P4, Justin's up to P5. That could be possibly VTI because it looked like a Virgin. And
has VTI pitted for options the same as Dale?
Like but he's dropping down the order. And here comes Justin attacking Aero Specialist once again. It's been a tight race.
Bachelor Dad go wide.
Bachelor Dad gone off again. So everyone looks like is having a spin in this race. It's been absolutely chaotic for an F1 race. Justin switching his fuels. That's contact between him and F1 Maniac. That's put Justin into the wall. And it's goodness knows who's going to finish. And look, that's VTI down to P8 as well. So he is on a fresh set of option tyres, we believe. And they're clearly not ready for a dry track. So VTI out from a potential podium position all the way down in P7. And here's Aero back with that. The track is drying out, but will VTI make them stick? We can see it from Bachelor Dad's tyre indicator on the top left of your screen.
They are warming up.
The intermediates are starting to heat up a little bit. So possibly we're looking maybe lap 21, lap 22, possibly the changeover for a set of option tyres or prime tyres.
Well, we've just seen Batch choose primes for his tyre indicator.
So do you think he can go to the end from lap 21 to fire as far as lap 35?
Possible. Cold track. You know, could keep the tyres within a good heat. Can't think of the word.
There he goes. Pitsy comes.
And yeah, he's going for the primes.
And you set a prime tyre, so here he goes.
Nice quick stop. 3.9.
From lap 19 to 35. But then again, if they find the tyres are getting that bit worn, we can always bolt on a set of options. So possibly 2 more stops to come for the dry runners. It'll be interesting to see can people make them stick. And that's Aero Boom up to P9. Looks like he was also switched to... Is he still on intermediates? I think he is. And look, actually they're getting sideways. The track still seems a little bit too cold for those... it's very important to keep heat in the dry tyres because on a wet track, especially in this game, you lose temperature quite quickly on a damp track. So as we can see, the tyres are just heating up a little bit. So if he can get some energy into them in this sector, he'll be able to get the phenomenal grip available from them, and he might start going a little bit quicker. We believe VTI is still on those option tyres. We're back with Ace Meister, who has worked his way up to P8, having avoided all the calamities, and it just shows that consistency, no matter how quick you are, consistency at the end of the day, especially in a difficult race like this, is what gives you the reward, Clive.
Oh, for sure. Tortoise and a hare.
Yeah, pretty much, and we can see, I wouldn't call Ace a tortoise. He is an F3, former F3 champion. He's certainly no slouch. So here at the tortoise, maybe not the exact term we're looking for. We see a few more drivers coming to the pits for looks like dry tyres, and that is Justin's in the pits. Aero Specialist, is that him ahead as well? Or is that F1 Maniac? I'm trying to make it out who it is. Anyway, in comes Justin.
It's gone past the Toro Rosso garage, it's got to be Specialist.
Probably Specialist, yes, and that's Justin also on the prime tyres. He was held up a little bit there behind another Toro Rosso, and that looks like that's Boo. And yes, everyone back in the pits now, and VTI presumably is back up now to P4 or 5. And I'm just looking at the track map to see where Aero Viper is relative to Aero Cobra. And look, there's Justin getting very sideways out to the first corner. And look, that's Justin has got ahead of Specialist in the pits. So the Virgin crew once again going on strike when Specialist needed the most. And
whoa!
Right around the outside. That was a brave move on the cold, damp tyres. And what tyres is Specialist on? Is he on the primes or is he on the options?
I think I saw him on the primes. They didn't look red to me.
Nobody seems to be going for the option tyre. We believe the guy is still on them, albeit the track would probably be coming to him a little bit now. And we haven't seen any... just getting sideways, left, right and centre. This should be called Rally Hungary rather than F1, the Hungarian Grand Prix. Everyone's getting sideways and on the grass.
Well, Specialist does like his rallying.
He does, yeah. He just backed that Virgin into a corner like a Mark II Escort. Anyway, there's VTI with the fastest lap. So now, presumably, we're in the dry tyre window. Look at Ace Meister. He's gone for a set of option tyres, and he's reeling in Justin on this outlap alone. And the fresh options, surely on a damp track, is what you need straight away.
It would depend, really. I mean, the options and the primes around here don't really last that track. This is a high wear track, and 15 laps to go. It's debatable, really, and also depends on each driver how long they can actually make the tyres last. Some drivers do make the tyres last, so I mean Ace has been known to make the tyres last a bit longer, so the options were probably the good choice.
Yeah, and we can see how much he was closing in, but the track now surely looks like it's dry everywhere now. So lap 21, all the way, the purple sector times are coming in thick and fast as Ace goes incredibly wide in turn 2. And VTI now, presumably he came in on lap 16, we believe, and he's got a long way to go on those option tyres. And there's Justin getting wide. Ace is all over the back of him, and Aero Boom isn't too far behind. There's a big scrap there for P6, 7. P5, 6 and 7 up the road, but I can just see on the track map there's a big bunch all fighting over, and there's another fast lap from VTI. So surely now it's dry tyre territory. We believe Aero Cobra and all the other guys will have long pitted now for tyres, and that's somebody in the pits now. We're not sure who that is.
That's Dale.
That's Dale, and Dale is coming off his options. He was another driver who switched incredibly early and eventually gained positions, and he's going to switch for primes, and surely Dale now would be able to go to the end of the race on these, right?
Possibly, but again, it all depends on how he can make the tyres last, I think. But I mean, he did pit extremely early, and he did lose a lot of time pitting for the options when it was still a damp track. So he's got a lot of time to make up, and if he can make it to the end while everyone else has still got to pit, then he could make up a bit more time there.
Right, let's take... So, still in the lead is Aero Cobra. We haven't seen too much from this race. Aero Viper is up to second. We believe they're in close proximity. Seam Bradley is third. VTI is probably fourth on the road. And there's Ace very wide. Fifth, then, is it F1 Maniac or no, Dale is down. I'm just trying to remember myself now. So presumably, anyway, guys on the option tyres will have to pit again, and that's Blake. Blake has crashed.
Oh.
So presumably Blake has hit the wall somewhere.
I'm assuming we'll get a replay of that at some point.
Yep, and he is out of the race. And here, this is Aero Boom up into P10. He is now catching the back of Ace Meister. And Aero Boom, at least with these prime tyres, he'll be able to last that little bit longer.
Oh, and here we go.
See the replay that caused Aero Blake to crash.
Was it on this next corner? It's a terrible corner, this one.
And yes, it...
Oh!
Look at that. I thought he was heading straight for the wall, but he got sideways. And the wet track outside caught him out and just put him straight to the wall, so that's him out of the race. So we're back with Aero Boom, who is chasing Ace Meister hard with Dale in close proximity. So it's a good scrap here for the final P9, 10 and 11. And it looks like everyone's got someone to battle with on the track today, Clive.
Yeah, looks like an eventful race. I'm not too sure which bit to actually commentate on after time.
Yeah, it's not really, we're not really sure really what's going on in terms of the strategy, because everyone's gone different ways. Some people gone for options, some people gone for primes. But we believe the leaders, Aero Cobra and Aero Viper, have fitted a set of prime tyres possibly, and maybe they're going to go. Maybe they'll just go for a set of options. Remember, they don't have to use both compounds once there's been a wet track. They don't have to use both. They can just use one. And it looks like maybe 2 stints of options or 1 stint of primes. The less stops, the better at this stage of the race, surely.
You'd think so.
You'd imagine maybe that might go as far as lap 27, 28, maybe put on a set of options and go for glory. And look at DRS has been enabled, and boom, straight up the inside.
He's going extremely defensive.
It's gone deep. It's gone deep.
No. And Dale goes through as well.
Yes, so now we're going to see a lot of track action. Look at Boom, he got a lot of fuel, and so does Dale, but this track is pretty fuel friendly, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue, and everyone is queuing up behind Ace Meister, who was on the glory on the option tyres. It looks like that they're worn down as Aero Cobra goes for another fastest lap of 1:14.4, and that's about, compared to last year, that's about maybe a second and a bit off the fastest lap times, but yet, we're only on lap 24, so we've still a good way to go until the fuel starts burning down. The track probably wouldn't be as fast as it gets in dry conditions when it has been wet. The track will be a little bit green, as Ace Meister desperately holding on to that 9th place. Dale is sniffing all around the back. He ducks left, he ducks right. Ace Meister going a little bit defensive in the corners, and we can see Dale has saved a bit of courage. He goes up the inside of Ace, and it looks like he's stuck that. And there's a little bit of contact, but Ace is not giving up, and Aero Boom is waiting in the wings to try and take position from the two of them, and he's made contact with Ace, and Ace has gone into the pits, and I think Boom was certainly caught out, and as he gets a bit of DRS, but Ace looks like his tyres are off, and he's got to pit for another set of prime tyres. So in he comes. Yes, surely these primes will go to the end now, Clive.
Yeah, 10 laps, or 11 laps, isn't it?
He
would have crossed the start-finish line already. So, yeah, 11 laps, yeah, I would say they should last.
Yeah, they should do in these conditions, and that brings him out back in last place. So the leaders are coming through there. Look at that, that's Aero Viper.
Oh, he's right behind Cobra.
He closed the gap to Aero Cobra, and we're brought forward now to lap 27, and this is Aero Cobra, and we haven't seen very little of him. So VTI seems to have dropped down the order. He may have had to pit again, and Steve Bradley's up to P3.
But Viper's only 1.4 behind at the start-finish line just then. I mean, coming from the back of the grid from turn 2 on the first lap to just 1.5 seconds behind Cobra. I mean, that's got to be some epic driving. I mean, in the wet as well.
Cool, calm and collected, and often unflappable is Aero Viper. not much gets to him. If an explosion went off in the room, he'd probably just sit down and relax, not really worry about it, and just sort of casually walk out of the room.
Scratch the nether regions, probably.
Yeah, and it's he's once again just relentless driving again, just to get himself up there. And surely though, Aero Cobra hasn't been exactly finding the limits either. I'm sure he's been trying to just keep the thing on track and take the thing home. He's down to +1 a lap. He's used a bit of fuel. And we're back here with the fight for P8 between Justin and Dale, and DRS is enabled, and using a bit of curves and straight up the inside. And they're side by side into the braking zone. Dale hooks up the apex, Justin goes a little wide, And yes, a clean move from Dale. So good recovery considering his earlier calamities with the option tyres in the rain on lap 14. So he's got a bit of the way to go. And we're on lap 27 of 35. Presumably these guys in the prime tyres are getting quite worn. They'll be thinking of going for options, and I'm sure one or two would probably maybe even risk staying out, just for the sake of maybe getting track position. But with 8 laps to go, it's surely not worth the risk, Clive.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. I think if your prime tyres are going off, or then jumping on the options at this point surely shouldn't be a bad choice, really.
No, definitely not. As considering the amount of turns this track is, you really need every bit of available tyre grip. So surely the fresher tyre option is the one to go for.
Oh, you've got to be with these fast corners. I mean, new tyres are easily going to gain you so much time, and pitting earlier than the person you're actually racing against is. Oh, as we see, Dale and Justin both come in.
Yes, and it's a battle of the Force India versus Mercedes pit crews. And here we are with Dale. Into the pits he comes. Now, will Justin get ahead, or will Dale get ahead? So it's 3.
Dale's gone primes.
5.2 seconds. He stays ahead of Justin, but only just. Sorry for the terrible puns. But anyway, out of the pits comes Dale.
Both gone primes.
Both on the prime tyres. They obviously don't feel that the options could do the distance yet, but I suppose the prime tyre is certainly the safe option and the more consistent tyre.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, yeah.
Certainly, and the option tyre around here, which is the super soft compound, usually gives you about a lap, 2 laps of performance, and they degrade quite quickly after lap 3. So at least with these prime tyres, that they last that little bit longer. They maybe not as quick on the first 1 or 2 laps, but over a stint they probably are quicker, especially with 8 laps to go. As we're looking at Aero Boo, who has made his way up to P7. He's 9 seconds down the road. He's got Aero Specialist there for company. And look at VTI lining up the sector times. Maybe he's pulling on a new set of options. And in comes Aero Boom. Specialist stays out. At this stage of the race as well, Clive, we don't know. There's been so many off-track incidents. We don't know has anyone got any time penalties. So the final running order, it could be anyway as they go across the line.
Well, yeah. Hold on. Will Boom go options? Yeah, options.
Yeah.
What's that? 7 laps remaining. Yeah. He should make. I think he should, in theory, actually get the jump on Specialist as well, as we see Cobra in and changing to the options as well with a 4.3 second pit stop. Not a bad time.
Presumably will do the same.
Yeah. And Viper shouldn't be that far behind as he's just crossed the start-finish line.
No, he would have gone for the undercut, and surely Aero Cobra would have. Look at that, they're actually a lot closer than we might have thought. And Viper is going to challenge Cobra for the lead of the race. And if Viper can win this Grand Prix, this would be something else.
The thing is, though, Kevin, I believe Viper is actually on the prime tyre, and there he is.
Round the outside he goes, and that's Aero Viper into the lead. Considering the start he just had. He is now taking the lead of the race. Has he pitted though, Clive? Is he on?
I believe he is on a new set of primes. He pitted, I think, lap 28.
Yes, he got the undercut, and that's put him ahead of Aero Cobra. So Aero Cobra now. This will be interesting to see, will the prime tyre outlast the option? And this is one of the first times we've probably seen them going toe to toe this year. They've always been sort of swapping positions, but it looks like now the gloves are off here as Aero Cobra putting the engine onto full power, saving some curves. He's well within the DRS zone. Will he pass Aero Viper down the straight? DRS is enabled. 6th gear, 7th gear, giving it all it's got. Aero Viper goes defensive. Cobra goes to the outside. The fuel mix goes to optimal. And they're going to be a little bit marginal as Cobra goes around the outside of Aero Viper and looks like he's retaking the lead. Aero Viper not giving in. They're side by side going into turn 2. And Aero Cobra hugs the inside line. Aero Viper still not giving up.
Still side by side.
3 corners. Up the hill they go.
Oh, who's going to give in for turn 4?
Who's got the bigger guns? And Cobra has just held on to it. Fantastic scrap there for the lead.
That was some epic racing.
Fantastic scrap. Now Aero Cobra surely has got the fresher tyres. It's going to be very difficult for Aero Viper. Fantastic racing between the two. It's the first time, one of the first times this season we've seen a majorly proper fight for the lead and not in a slipstream battle or not in a slipstream race. And Aero Cobra not having any of it, as Viper did try and get the undercut, and that is Justin going wide and Ace Meister going wide as well. They are now lap traffic, and that's one less lap for them to do, I suppose, Clyde.
Yeah. See, should have gone options.
Yep. Captain Hindsight's always the best. Anyway, another fast lap for PTI. Presumably he's gone onto the option tyres. And, that's Ace going inside. Just holding on. Just about held on to that. I'm sure he would have taken a bite out of the seat there after that manoeuvre. We're on lap 34 now, and Aero Cobra. It'll be interesting to see when Aero Cobra's tyres go off before Aero Viper's, because the gap is about 2 seconds. So, presumably now, I'd imagine that Aero Viper coming in those 2 laps earlier would have taken a little bit more life out of the primes. But it's Aero Cobra has only had to do 5 laps on the option, so surely he'll be able to have this to the end, Clyde.
Oh yeah, he's got to. I mean, like he could have run rich for like a lap or two, pulled the second gap to get out the DRS, and even just staying in standard, he should still have the edge over Viper. But I mean, Viper, you know, don't call him out of it. He can always pull something back out of nowhere.
Yes, that's for sure. His level of consistency, and here is Aero Boom.
You see him going a bit wide through that last section of corners.
Looks like he's suffering a little bit on the options.
Yeah.
And we're back with Justin at the grips.
They're still battling.
That's all I'm doing. Justin giving the full burst of curves with DRS, using more curves. Dale goes incredibly defensive. But look at the top speed of that Force India. Justin, even with DRS, exactly getting the back of him, and he looks like he's going to undercut him for turn 2, and he's using a burst of curves. He's got the higher ground. He's done a classic switchback.
Still on the outside, though.
Dale is up the inside as they go side by side into turn 3. And look at the drivers giving each other great room there, great camaraderie, and great racing. And Dale just about holds on to P6. At least the drivers. Very high level of wheel-to-wheel action, and just great consideration for others. We've seen a few collisions earlier on the race, and surely none of them are intentional with wet conditions. Just people get caught out with braking points.
There is a huge amount of respect in F1 from everybody.
You can certainly sense that, and even between Aero Cobra and Aero Viper, who go at it hammer and tongs, you can see how well and how to race. If anyone ever needs a demonstration on how to race in ARL, the battle we just seen earlier with Aero Cobra and Aero Viper, that is how you do it, just with respect, and you can still race hard and you can still defend hard. Like, it just means you don't have to, feel that you've got a given right to the corner. Yeah. But anyway, Aero Cobra now, he's 2.5 seconds ahead of Aero Viper, and around the final corner he comes. It's been a masterclass from Aero Cobra, but we certainly have to give a shout to Aero Viper. Aero Cobra wins here in Hungary, and another win for the championship for him. He'll be happy with that. Aero Viper finishes in P2, and look at these two on the final lap, still going at it, Clyde.
It's an amazing battle. An all-race battle. You couldn't want anything else, really, could you, from a race?
No, definitely not. And it's been a fantastic race to commentate on. It's been very exciting. And I'm sure some of you have got very excited watching this as well. And look at all the fuel that Dale has. He was very conservative with his fuel, and plus 3 laps at the end of the race. So.
Oh, mind you though, he did pit early for the option, so he probably had to run a fair few laps on lean as well.
Yeah, and look at Justin really struggling with that Mercedes. It feels like an articulated 18-wheeler going around the final few corners on more tyres, and this is going to be some scrap for the last position, and no one's giving in. Justin gives him room. Dale goes around the outside. And, looks like Dale has got it. Surely he's got it now. He's just sticking it up the inside, and there's a bit of contact between them. And Justin's been sort of shoved out of the way. It's a shame.
That is a shame.
Dale finally gets that P8. Justin, after a dogged drive, finishes in P9. Aero Boom, finishes in P10.
Such a good race, long battle there, and had to end with a little bit of lag on the second to last corner.
Take us to the final results, Clive.
Right, Cobra, commanding win, pretty much, 47 minutes. Viper, well, after turn 2, lap 1, 20 finished 1.1 behind, not bad. Steam Bradley, second podium since he's been in, 21 seconds behind. Aero Bachelor Dad from not qualifying to 4th place, not bad. F1 Maniac only 5 seconds behind Batch, good race there. Aero Specialist 6th place, he actually didn't qualify either, so good result for him. VTI plus 56, we believe he had a few penalties added on as well. 7th place, Dale in 8th as we saw, and Justin in 9th. Good battle between the two of them, brilliant. Boom only finished a second behind Justin there, so not bad. And Ace, as we saw, +1 lap. Blake didn't finish, unfortunately, and Lemon also didn't finish either.
Right, so this affects the championship standings once again. And Aero Cobra, that's another win now after his win in Germany. That will help extend his championship lead over Aero Viper. He's got a healthy 39-40 point lead. And Aero Bachelor Dad is up to P3. VTI has moved down the order. He had started well when he came in. He's down to P6. Justin, with that few points, has got ahead of VTI. He's up into P5. Lee Cocker missed that race, so he stays where he is in P7. Aero Boom in the Toro Rosso, just about hanging on to the coattails of Lee Cocker in 8th at the moment. And in the bottom part of the standings, we see Ivertex, who didn't show up for this race, is on 33 points in the relegation battle. F1 Maniac is on 33. Steen Bradley, who is making some great results, only his 3rd race in it, and he is on 30 points. Aero Blake on 12. Dale, also a debutant, on 18. Ace Meister on 7. Lemon on 5, and Stephen Martin on 5 as well. So still a few races, good few races to go, long into the season. And who would you give your driver of the day, Clive?
Well, I don't really like giving out 2 on the trot, but I think Viper again, you know, coming to a finish just 1 second behind after that spin or whatever on turn 2. It was an epic drive, even in the wet.
I would probably give it to Aero Viper as well, considering the calamities that went on and the fact he was able to avoid that. So we'll see you next time for everyone's favourite, the Belgian Grand Prix. And I'm Kevin Joyce, and Clive Lawrence is with me, and we'll see you again the next time.
Alright, have fun.
Go out, we will be racing here in Monte Carlo. Look, but never stare. And we're away. And it looks like a good start by Pilkey and Bachelor Dad looking for a way through. The Ferrari of Ant Warrior in 2nd place. He's lagging all over the track there.